some people believe, still some executives believe, that we should not metaphor. Now, when you say let's not metaphor, it's like DUI. DUI stands for driving under the influence of drugs or of alcohol. When you are a DUI, you are not in control. The alcohol or the drug is in control. You don't know what possesses you. You don't know where you are going, and you certainly don't know where and how you will end up. Hopefully not in a fatal way, but a lot of fatalities happen that way. Similarly, if we are using metaphors but are not aware of it, we are like driving under the influence of unseen literature and language and ideation and communication, and it has impact on people. We also should not go against nature. From childhood, as we grow up, we are taught about metaphors and through metaphors. Remember in school days when we were talked about atom. So you pick up a piece of sand and you think that that is the smallest you've seen, but then we are told no, there is something even more fundamental, and that is called atom. And the metaphor we use is the planetary system. So the sun and then the planets moving around it. That basically means that there is a nucleus, and then there are electrons that are going around elliptically at various speeds and at various distances, and when those electrons bond with other electrons, molecules are formed, and so on. So we use metaphors in science a lot. We have used them in mathematics a lot. We have used them in finance and accounting a lot. We have been brought up that way. We should not really start thinking of these as ancillary or even unuseful. There is a very famous article that came a couple of years ago as an op-ed in the New York Times, and it was written by the famous economist Paul Krugman, and the title of that op-ed was "Block Those Metaphors." He said, "I say stop those metaphors." I've quoted him in my book, and I would like to read to you from this book. Well, this is the manuscript of the book, that particular piece, and see if you are with me in terms of the insight. Krugman wrote, "I say, block those metaphors." And then he goes on to say, and that is because, this was about the Obama-McConnell tax cut deal. And people thought in 2010 that this is going to jumpstart the economy and do a lot more. Krugman wrote that bad metaphors make bad policies. The idea that the economic engine is going to catch any day now encourages policymakers to settle for sloppy, short-term measures when the economy really needs well-designed, sustained support in the long run. So what he's saying is, let's not use machines and mechanics as the metaphor for economics, growth engines, jumpstart. Those are not the things that are going to do. We need a more long-term metaphor. And then he rightly says, and that I think should have been the title of his article, which is "Bad Metaphors Make for Bad Policies." So they are germane to a lot of our activities in economics and management as well. There are about 14 different myths like these that I have identified in the book, and I think you will enjoy reading those, from the unimportant, unrecognized to most powerful, sizzle versus the steak kind of range. Secondly, range of from ignored and underutilized to packed and powerful ways of communicating by leaders. That's another range. And a third range that I found was from inhibiting inefficiencies and efficiencies to time-saving effectiveness. So making things very ineffective to being very effective. So a wide range of opinions that people had. Opinions matter. And so I have put them in these 14 myths, as well as provided certain evidence of the reality versus those myths. And it's up to us whether we continue to choose to use those myths and live with them, or we want to make a change and shift into the reality and make the new realities of tomorrow.